Turns out we didn't even have to go to Kenai National Park. We're seeing bear on this whale cruise. Our names are Mike and Heather. We're traveling the US in our van Appa on a mission to visit all 50 states. Subscribe and join us as we try to figure out this whole van life thing. As always, thanks for watching.
Hello from Seward, Alaska. We are getting ready to jump on the shuttle bus that'll take us over to the docks, where we will be getting on a boat to explore the Kenai Fjords National Park by water.
Yesterday we saw the northern lights here in Seward and we were up until about 3 in the morning, so running a little bit late here. We got to catch a shuttle to get us to the boat, to get us to see the glaciers and the wildlife, so let's go. We made it to the shuttle stop. This tour is going to be 6 hours long. We're going to see glaciers, wildlife, well at least I hope so.
Hopefully we'll be able to see everything. We were a bit nervous this morning because we woke up and there was just super heavy fog, but as we made our way into town, it had cleared off and is absolutely beautiful. Blue skies up ahead. So this should be a really exciting day on the fjords.
How you doing?
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. All right, guys, here's the deal. Get you over to the front counter. We're gonna get you checked in. Get your boarding passes. We're gonna answer all of your questions you have.
We're on the Orca Voyager, which is what we're hoping to see.
Morning!
How are you all today?
Good, how are you?
It is a nice day. We're very pleased.
Not a cloud in the sky.
We're starting today from the Visitor Center area near Seward on Resurrection Bay. From there, we're going to be exploring into the Kenai Fjords and into some of those arms to go see the glaciers in there. Yesterday, we were at Exit Glacier. All of these glaciers are actually fed by the Harding ice field, which they have a hike that you can go up to. It's about 8 miles round trip, but that's something you can go see. And that actually is what the source of all of these glaciers are.
So we jumped into the main cabin here where there's lots of seating to warm up a little bit. We've been outside for a couple of hours looking for all sorts of wildlife. We are in this bay area now looking for orca, so hopefully we see something soon. But in the meantime, we got a lunch. We got a hummus wrap, which was pretty good, and we're just warming up here, waiting for the orca. We are back in the main cabin now with some hot chocolates after we saw the orcas. We're about to drive up to some glaciers and get up close and personal with those, which I'm very excited about. Hopefully we'll be able to see some of the ice breaking away and actually falling into the water. We've had a lot of good luck on this cruise so far with the wildlife viewings and the great weather, so fingers crossed we see some glacier activity as well. Turns out we didn't even have to go to Kenai National Park. We're seeing bear on this whale cruise. There's a bear on the shore. Oh, I see it.
Oh yeah.
I don't have the zoom lens on right now, but
I think it
we'll
would
do
have
our
been tough
best.
to see.
talk over the ice. So the place where we used to sit and watch the glacier is now inside the glacier. It's pushed forward about a half a mile in the last 3 years. There's some more. So we get about 80 feet of snow a year up in the mountains here, in the Kenai Mountains.
While we were at the Harding Glacier, the crew actually reached over with a net and pulled up some of the ice floes, which is glacial ice from the glacier. And they were making cocktails, so we got an Alaska sunrise with some glacier ice. And then we got a cup of glacier ice just to eat and try and see how it tastes. You want an ice chip? There's definitely floaties in it.
Eat it. Is it fresh?
That's some high quality H2O.
So this is the Alaskan Sunrise. It's got vodka, orange juice, cranberry juice, and Sprite. How can you go wrong? Oh, and glacier ice. That's good. That's real good. That tastes like juice. Better than the duck fart that we had on Homer for sure.
So we are back in Appa after a really great day.
We saw all sorts of animals. We saw puffins, orcas, sea
Harbor
otters.
seals, sea lions, what else?
Lots of seagulls.
Jellyfish in the water.
Yeah.
We saw
Oh,
a
yeah,
bear
we
on
saw a
the
bear.
shore. We saw some of everything, it seemed. It was a really great cruise. We saw so many things. Basically, all of the things we were hoping to see, we saw.
Including parts of the glacier crashing into the water. The cracking you could hear, the splashes. It was really just an amazing experience.
Yeah, and I got to see orcas, which was the thing I was most excited about. So it was really a great tour. Absolutely amazing weather to go out in. It was a beautiful day. And we just had such a great time out on the water.
But now we're back in our van and we forgot to unplug the jackery. Our jackery was very, very low, meaning that it was like under 10% because we've been using it a lot to charge our work stuff and everything. So we forgot to unplug it and our car's not starting now. So we need to jump our car because the battery is dead from the jackery being plugged in.
Yeah, so we've done this before, and if we leave the jackery in, it drains the battery in the car, in which case we have to pull out our Noco Boost, which is a little rechargeable engine jump start kit. So it's not a big deal. It's something that we've done before.
Unfortunately.
More just, I can't believe we did that. But we kind of had a thought that we had left it charging while we were on the water. We both were sort of asking each other. Heather had asked me if I remembered to unplug the jackery, and I could not remember, and so we were figuring when we got back it was probably going to be returning to a dead battery, which was the case.
We have a checklist at the end of the night. Make sure that the lights are turned off. Make sure the jackery's unplugged. And usually when we're away from our van for hours at a time, we unplug the jackery because it does kill our battery. And this tour, as great as it was 6 hours, which is how we were able to see so many cool things. And yeah, we just didn't think to do that. So.
And we were running a little bit late this morning.
As per usual.
It's at green, which means it's fully charged, which means we were responsible travelers and van lifers. So we are fully set. We just have to attach the cables to the battery, let it sit for about 30 seconds to get the juice going, and then we will be good to go.
Yeah, there's been many times where we have a dead battery and the Noco Boost isn't charged, so I'm glad that this isn't one of those times.
Not many. It's happened before.
Several times.
All right, you ready? We've done this enough that I definitely remember how to do it. And the light will tell you that it's giving it some power, so we just count to 30.
The car is on. The Noco Boost is going on the jackery. That just took all the power, so that way next time that this happens, we'll be good to go.
And the captain of our Cruz actually saw us while we were waiting for the NOCO boost to charge the batteries enough to start and offered some help. So that was a nice little conversation as well. Thanks, Appa. Actually, it's our fault. We can't blame Appa.
No, but the captain was super nice and offered to help us, but we didn't have jumper cables because we usually rely on the NOCO boost, so our life is awkward.
Once again, one of the most valuable things you can have as a van lifer, or at least if you're like us and forget to turn electronic devices features off in your car before you get out and leave for 6 hours or before you go to bed, is a NOCO boost. We've used this more times than we would like to admit, and it has come through every time.
We are heading out of Seward now. We just passed the place that we actually boondocked and stayed overnight last night, where we saw the northern lights, and there was actually a rainbow there. So we've had good luck 2 times in a row driving past that scenic overlook for a beautiful view.
We've absolutely loved our time on Alaska's coastline so far. The Kenai Peninsula has been so much more than we could have ever expected, and we've had so many great experiences. We have a few more days here before we start making our way inland, and it just continues to blow us away with how beautiful it is and all the amazing activities to do while we're here.
We have made it to a boondocking site for this night, which is really just a turnoff on a road to Hope. So we are going to Whittier tomorrow, but on the way we wanted to kind of do a little detour up to Hope, which is a historic gold finding town. That sounded like something we had to check out, so we're making that quick little detour before we get to Whittier tomorrow. But before we can go into bed mode and wait for the northern lights, which hopefully we'll be able to see again tonight, we have to actually fix our bed. So last night when we were watching the northern lights, everything was dark and we didn't want to turn on the lights because there were some people around us and we didn't want to ruin their pictures or mess with their eyes. So it was really dark in the van and I couldn't find my phone, and I leaned forward on the top of like the bed extension part and kind of cracked the board. In my defense, Mike cracked it first a couple of weeks ago, but I was just the one to break it.
So one of the issues with doing the bed extension the way that we have is that with the brackets mounted to the board the way they are, they don't support weight very well. So it's only ever meant to kind of have your head on it and be a sleeping extension. So if you put weight, there's not really anywhere for it to go, and I wasn't able to get 2x4s to fit, which was my original thought. So the boards we used aren't the strongest, and
well, the boards we used were scrap wood from other projects.
True, we didn't have an ideal piece of wood. So the boards that we ended up going with aren't the strongest, and a couple months ago I made the mistake of putting some weight on it when I was grabbing something from the front and had put a crack into it. And yesterday evening, it just kind of finished off as Heather was leaning forward to look for her phone. So what we are going to do is just put in these mending brackets that we grabbed at the local hardware store in Seward on either side and on the front to try and just stabilize it. Again, we don't really need it to be something we can put weight on, and these aren't going to fix the board permanently. We'll have to replace it at a certain point in time. But for what we can do on the road, this is going to work really well. So I've got the tool bag out. I'm going to pull the drill out. We'll put a couple pilot holes on either side and on the front to be able to mount these in so we don't split the wood when we put the screws in. Thanks YouTube comments from way back for the heads up on why boards were splitting when we weren't pre-drilling holes. So we're gonna just mend this and it should be good to go for the rest of the travels. When we get back home, we'll probably come up with a better solution, maybe a sturdier board for that mounting system. And I'm just hand tightening it so I don't damage the wood. It's not the prettiest thing, but it should be secure. In the future, I'll probably try and find an L bracket to strengthen the connection on the back, but this should be good. And again, this was on us for putting weight on something that wasn't really designed to hold weight, but all in all, this has been exactly what we needed, so I probably wouldn't do anything different.
The board was the issue, not the brackets itself, because the brackets themselves can hold up to 300 pounds, or like the flip-up shelf area.
It's this thing right here.
Yeah, because we used a cheap board, so that's on us.
Happy it's fixed, and that actually wasn't too bad. I think it was a couple bucks for the mending pieces, and it came with all of the hardware. We brought along more tools this time to fix stuff, so this really wasn't that bad, and I'm happy to continue to be able to use the extension.
The strategy for tonight and trying to see the northern lights is going to be setting our alarm and waking up every 45 minutes to an hour. Last night we just stayed up the whole length of the night, and we're really feeling it today, so we're going to go to sleep and then just set intervals to try to wake us up. The other reason why we're doing that is because we don't think we're going to have as good of luck, even though the forecast is really good for the northern lights. Unfortunately, there's a lot of like, cloud coverage, so we're not sure if we're going to get to see it, but we're still going to try, and at the very least it'll be a very pretty spot to wake up to tomorrow morning.
Even though Alaska is a great place for seeing the northern lights because of how far north you are, you have to balance that with a clear sky. So a general rule of thumb seems to be if you can see the stars on a night where there's a good forecast for the aurora, there's a good chance you'll see the northern lights. But with the cloud cover and the little bit of rain that we have now, even though there's a good chance the lights could be seen, because of the cloud cover, you wouldn't be able to see them in the sky even though they're there. So we'll keep an eye out, and hopefully the clouds will break a little bit. Yesterday was a fantastic night. We had a nice clear open sky. The stars were beautiful and we were able to see the northern lights. Tonight, good forecast, but pretty
Less
decent.
than stellar weather.
Yeah, it's some good cloud cover overhead. So fingers crossed that we get a break at some point and can look out and see them. But we did have an amazing show last night.
Yeah, and we will be going up to Fairbanks towards the mid to / end of September, which is when they'll hopefully start picking up even more. So we'll have more chances to see them, but yeah, we're still going to try and see if we can see anything tonight. And if we do see anything, we'll let you all know in the morning. Good night.